Do you ever wonder what the faculty are saying about the students when they're in the faculty lounge? Today, I'm using my insider position as a college professor to pull back the curtain on the number one mistake that new college students make, and that is treating the syllabus like optional reading. How many students just missed their first big exam because they didn't do this one thing on the first day of class? That's reviewing the syllabus. Think of the syllabus like your cheat code for the entire semester. It tells you exactly how to win. So the question is, what is a syllabus? Some of you probably already know. It's like the blueprint for your whole class. It tells you what's included in the course, the resources you need to participate, and when everything is due. It also gives information about legal statements and college policies, and about where to get various student services. Let's take a look at a generic syllabus that I've created, and I'll tell you how to apply that. So as you can see, I created this syllabus just based on one of my old class syllabi, and you have the name of the class, the dates and times of the class meetings, and you see also important faculty contact information, phone numbers and emails. By the way, a lot of adjunct faculty do not have offices, so they might not have a phone that you can call. I know one of the schools where I teach, the adjunct phone number, it's just one big phone number, and then it routes all of the messages to email, which I think is kind of silly because why wouldn't you just use email in the first place? Think about what your professor prefers. Now, an adjunct, by the way, is a part-time professor. So make sure you go with whatever your instructor tells you that you should use to contact them. You see also we've got the required textbooks. Here's a note, lockdown browser is required. And so this is important information for you. On this next page, we could see course objectives. What are we trying to accomplish in that class? And of course, I just took one of my old classes to create this generic syllabus so you can see some of those expected outcomes. And here is very important, the schedule. Very useful to know when everything is due. I would suggest that you actually, on the first day, go in to your syllabus and put all the due dates for tests and important assignments into your phone with alerts so you make sure that you don't miss anything. They also have policy and procedure. Here's information about all of the things that are going to be graded, how many points, the grading scale for the school. Okay, if you're ever super bored, you can read through the legal policies, but there's also information about makeup. If you miss something, what kind of excuse is necessary, and resources for disability services and Veterans Affairs. So those are all useful things that are on the syllabus. Some of it's a bit of a snooze, but a lot of that information is really important, particularly faculty contact and the schedule. Some of those things, like the contacts for disability services and veterans department, so forth, might be on the college website, but generally speaking, most schools require that to be on each individual class syllabus as well. I don't know about your school, but I don't hand out paper syllabi anymore. Less dead trees is always better, and I don't like to have paper to keep track of, but all of my syllabi are posted on the class page in Blackboard or in Canvas. If you're a paper person, you can download the syllabus and print out a copy to keep in your class notebook. If not, it's always going to be available on the class page and you can access it there. Make sure you put those important dates into your phone with alerts. And I would suggest also that you formulate your study plan using the syllabus so that you can get ahead of the faculty. What I mean by that is you should at least skim the chapters that the faculty is going to discuss before you get to class. I know everybody says read the textbook, and very few students are actual textbook readers, but you can at least skim the chapter, look at the highlighted headings, maybe go to the chapter summary, and you want to do that before you get to class during the lecture that they're going to discuss that material, because that way it's not completely new. Remember, when you get to college, the faculty aren't necessarily going to lecture on absolutely everything that you could be tested on. So you're going to be responsible for the material in the textbook, whether they talk about it in class or not. You can set up specific times to go over your class materials, and that way you can stay ahead of your work. I always tell my students to put together a schedule for the semester with all the study times and class times laid out. I've placed a link in the description to get my free time management guide, and this shares exactly what I recommend to my own students about how to stay organized. So don't skip over the syllabus. Some of it, if you're, having trouble getting to sleep, that can help you try and read it, but it does have useful information. So make sure that you take the time to look through it before you get to class, and make sure that you are prepared for what they're going to be discussing that particular class day. Go ahead and put down in the comments anything that you have questions about or topics for future videos. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on my next episode.